afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the show that's on in the afternoon. Glad to be back with you today.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back today. This is awesome.
We've got some great people to talk to today.
Yes, the gift of life today we're going to be talking about. This is amazing.
Jessica Scheidler Grossberg is joining us again from LifeQuest Organ Recovery.
Yep.
We've also got Suzette Warren, who is here with us. She's going to tell us her very powerful story of, well, she's still here with us because of a life-saving transplant. So very excited to talk to these ladies here today and give you guys some truly life-saving insights on this show.
Yeah, this is celebrating Donate Life Month, so this will be a good highlight.
Right.
And we inspired a bunch of people to sign up last year, so let's see what we can do this year. This is awesome.
Speaking of inspiring, Bozard Ford Lincoln, since 1949, they've been more than just a dealership. They are a family-owned beacon of trust right here in St. Augustine. Founded on honesty, integrity, and community service, that Bozard family tradition continues to thrive through generations. They've got an amazing service facility, 91 climate-controlled bays out there, so you shouldn't be waiting very long at all for any work anytime you go out there. They also have a quick lane for no appointment-needed maintenance, and you can also enjoy the comforts of their customer lounge and the amazing flavors of Ford's Garage. Great place.
Absolutely. They have our burger there. It's amazing.
They do have our burger there.
Yes.
That's not the only reason I love them.
Peanut butter and bacon on this burger. Can you imagine?
Okay. That's something.
I love her. That's something.
Bozard Ford Lincoln, they offer the best in pricing, selection, and service. They're just off 95 and State Road 16, where your satisfaction is their mission, and they are driven to inspire. Also, our friends at the Bailey Group. Be ready for anything with the Bailey Group. They're an NFP company. Life's full of unexpected moments. And whether it's securing your family's future, protecting your business, or planning for individual wealth, the Bailey Group is here to guide you every step of the way. Since 1954. It's a long time.
Yes, sir.
The Bailey Group has been a trusted cornerstone of the St. Augustine community. Under the leadership of President Mark Bailey.
Love it.
Has a ring to it.
Yes, it does, sir.
They've grown from a local agency to a nationally recognized firm offering tailored solutions for individuals, families, and businesses. With a focus on individual health and life insurance, Medicare solutions, group insurance, and property and casualty commercial coverage. The Bailey Group combines cutting-edge technology, strategic partnerships, and personalized service to deliver the peace of mind you deserve. Give them a call. Let them give you that peace of mind. 904-461-1800. All right. Jessica Scheidler Grossberg, Suzette Warren. Ladies, how are y'all doing today?
Hi, good. How are you guys?
Good, thank you. Ms. Warren, how are you this afternoon?
I'm awesome. I'm here.
Yes, you are.
I love
Beaming, and I love it. Yeah.
So it is a Donate Life Month. Is that correct?
Yes, it is National Donate Life Month. We celebrate every year in the month of April. So bringing awareness to organ donation and advocating for those that are waiting for a transplant, honoring the people that have passed away that were able to donate.
And for people who might be new to seeing you and us talking to you, Jessica, talk about what LifeQuest Organ Recovery does.
Yeah, so LifeQuest is in every hospital in North Florida.
Okay.
What we do is we coordinate the removal of the organs, we figure out who gets the organs, and then placing it in the next person's body. So the whole organ donation process, we're a part of every piece, talking with the families once they lost the loved ones, but then also doing what I'm doing, which is the education piece, going out into the public and trying to give those understandings about organ donation.
What do you think is the toughest thing to get through people's mind when we're talking about organ donation? Because people, I remember from our last conversation, people have a lot of very irrational fears that don't come from a place of fact, correct?
Right. Organ donation can be very scary, the idea that you're giving your organs to somebody else. So getting that education out to people, knowing that doctors, nurses, medical professionals, they're not going into this line of work to take your organs.
Right.
They're going to do everything in their power to save your life. And you have to die in a very specific way to be able to give your organs. So about 1% of the population dies in the specific way so they can be an organ donor. And so they're not looking at your driver's license. They're not trying to just take your organs. Your driver's license is actually not a valid form of information when it comes to this topic. We
Really?
think like, oh, there's a heart on my license. Like you're going to see that. That makes a lot of people nervous. 2 reasons that doesn't work. So one, in the state of Florida, you can actually say, hey, I would love to be an organ donor, but please don't put the heart on my ID.
You can opt out.
You can opt out. Like that makes me nervous. And so a lot of people are doing that.
Okay.
The other piece is, I mean, we live in a digital world. So I'm an organ donor. I have a heart on my ID. Well, I could change my mind. I can unregister and then register later.
Yeah.
We can just do all of this on our cell phone. So you're able to register and never get that heart put on there. So that is a big misconception that they'll see my ID. Well, your ID might be incorrect.
Yeah. And really, I've never been in the hospital at any time where they like went through my wallet, right? Without me knowing or anything that I've been in the hospital
and
for.
Same thing, if you get in an accident, their first thought is like, we need to see your ID. We want to help you, get you what you need.
Yeah.
But talk about like some of the success stories too, about like how this is life changing for people.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're right here next to Mayo Clinic and UF Shands Gainesville. So we're kind of smack dab right in the middle of all of that. So those are our huge transplant hospitals. There's so many people moving to this area so they can get a transplant.
Really?
And oh, yes. And because it's such a big hospital and well known for their transplant program, Suzette can testify, of course. But there's so many people here locally that they're alive. Thanks to that gift that somebody gave here.
That's incredible.
Wow, that really is. And, you mentioned less than 1% of people pass in a certain way that is specific enough for their organs to be donated. So I have to imagine that, we hear all the time that there's a shortage of organs out there. And people, these waiting lists can be massive waiting lists, right?
Right.
So where are we? Is that still the case? I mean, we're still pretty short on organ donations.
Yes, that's still the case, unfortunately. I would not have a job if it went the other direction.
Yeah.
So there's about 100,000 people waiting for a transplant right now in the United States.
Wow.
So to put that into a picture for you, I like to think of the Jaguar Stadium.
Okay.
We can imagine that if that was ever sold out.
Yeah, it never is, but if it ever was,
right. Our stadium currently holds about 67,000 people.
Okay.
So like a stadium and a half, 2 stadiums worth of sick people that need a transplant. That's what we're looking here.
That's wild.
In Florida, about 5,000 people need a transplant. I mean, those numbers are huge, but then about 20 people die every day waiting for that transplant.
True.
Wow.
And that's what makes it so hard. So when we talk about that 1%, you have to die in a very specific way. 2 things have to happen. You have to be brain dead. You have to be on life support. So brain dead, brain injury. Think trauma to the head, a car accident, a gunshot wound, a concussion. Yeah. But those also things like strokes and overdoses and brain aneurysms. You have a heart attack, not enough blood and oxygen gets to the brain dead. Your brain holds who you are. That's everything. So when your brain stops, you're no longer alive.
Yeah.
The other piece is that life support, the ventilator machine that pumps blood and oxygen to your organs, keeping your organs alive. So if I die in my car in a car accident, I can't be an organ donor. I might have a brain injury, if my head gets rattled, but I'm not on life support. I can't. A lot of people think like, oh, you'll take my organs in a car accident. We could never do that.
Oh. Right.
So if I died in my sleep, same thing.
Okay.
Brain injury, life support.
Because there's no oxygen being pumped in blood. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Right. So that's what makes it the 1%. So even though, I'm registered, I'm an organ donor, would happily be able to give my organs, but there's a 99% chance I might not be able to. And so that's where that number comes into play, why people should register, because there's a small chance that you'll become an organ donor, but you can make a huge difference in about 100 people's lives, potentially.
I think really clearing up some of these misconceptions it's got to be, you have to have seen it over your years of working for this organization, that it just puts things into perspective. We kind of sit here and we talk about it and it's like, oh yeah, of course there's not a surgeon going to car accidents to take organs, right?
With millions of dollars of equipment.
Right. So, well, Suzette, your story really puts all this into perspective, right? Can you take us back to the moment when you found out, I guess, first of all, that you needed a kidney replacement, correct?
Yes. And thank you for the opportunity to share my story. I'm always happy get people on board with organ donation. Well, I'm originally from Texas. You can't tell. That's where I'm from.
I can hear it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. And but when I was 8 years old, my mom died with kidney disease. She was 28 years old.
Wow.
My sister and I were tested in high school. We had the disease that our mom had.
Wow.
And so nothing really happened as far as physically for me until we went to Quito, Ecuador as missionaries in 1992. Quito is the top of the Andes Mountains, 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
I didn't realize at the time, nobody did, that that's not real good for a person that has kidney issues.
Really?
I didn't know that
It really can cause your kidneys to decline pretty rapidly. And that's what happened. So after 5 years, the doctor there recommended that we come back to the U.S. for me to start kidney dialysis. Dialysis is a process that cleans your blood, gets the toxins and junk out, things that your kidneys do that you can't no longer do. So I was at 7%. Like I say, we were originally from Texas, but we came to Florida because our missionary agency is in Jacksonville. We wanted to continue in missions work, so that's when we moved to Jacksonville. And I started dialysis. I was on for 8 years. My sister had a really bad transplant experience and ended up passing away a few years later. So I never wanted to do that. I didn't feel like I could go through what she went through. But at 7%, you begin to think.
Right.
After 8 years, a lot of different things because of the dialysis. It kept me alive. It cleaned out my system, but it caused a lot of other issues. So about 2003, I began thinking about it in the beginning of 2003 and started researching kidney donation, how I would receive one. Like Jessica talked about, if you're in a car accident, you can donate your organs. Wonderful, wonderful thing to do. You no longer need them.
Mm-hmm.
But what I got was a living donor. My donor is Leslie. She lives here in St. Augustine.
Oh, wow.
She was raised in Ohio. As God would have it, when I needed a transplant, she was here in St. Augustine. I was here in St. Augustine. We attended the same church. Didn't really know her real well. Pretty big church. We passed in the hallway. Our daughters went to youth together. But when she was 15 years old in Ohio, she had a best friend named Dawn. Dawn needed a kidney. Dawn's mother gave her daughter a kidney, and as best friends do, Leslie was with her the whole time. She was in the hospital one day, sitting in the room while Dawn was recovering, and she had this thought just kind of pop through her head, and she thought, wow, this would be so cool to save somebody's life one day. Now, she's 15 years old. She's in high school. Life goes on, married, kids, move, life, And so when I was pretty much probably going to die if I didn't get a kidney transplant, my husband went to talk to the pastor of our church there. Our daughter was only in middle school, really thought I was going to die. He needed some prayers, some counsel, some help, encouragement. So the pastor suggested that they put something in the church bulletin. Now, your listeners may not know what a church bulletin is. Now everything's online. This is the hard copy. It gives you all the calendar stuff of what's going on. So they decided to put something in the church bulletin, just asking people to pray and see if they might be willing to donate a kidney. You can live on one kidney. Many, many people do. I have done now for many, many years on one kidney. So, but anyway, when Leslie never told her parents, she never told anybody about it. It was a thought at 15. When she read it in the church bulletin that morning, she said she remembered that thought and her best friend back in Ohio.
Wow.
She called Mayo Clinic to donate a kidney. That's the information in the bulletin. And she went through the evaluation. She was a perfect match. Never drank alcohol, never drank coffee, water only. Weight was wonderful. I mean, she had all the criteria to be a great donor.
What a blessing.
So, yeah, it was huge. It was huge. Needless to say, that was pretty eye-opening for me that someone would be willing to do that. Someone that I knew, but I didn't really know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so to this day, it still kind of chokes me up, and I'm not going to cry. But when she went through the transplant, we went to Mayo. Well, at that time, it was St. Luke's. Mayo wasn't built yet, but it was still through Mayo at St. Luke's, and we met at the hospital. And she was in one room, I was in the other. They took her kidney out, put it in me, started working immediately. And that was in November 4th, 2003.
Wow.
So that's almost 22 years ago.
That's incredible faith
Yes.
with your friendship there.
Well,
Starting a friendship, right?
it
I guess?
became huge because doing it on November 4th, our husband and kids decided to do Thanksgiving together, our two families.
Mm.
So our husband and our kids, we've got masks on. We're kind of weak, but, it was a great symbol, just Thanksgiving, of what had taken place. Of course, for Leslie, she shares with Jessica sometimes. And when we do it together, I hear her motto, and she said, God gave us 2 kidneys, one to keep and one to give away. Oh. And I love that because that's exactly what she did. And, I asked her before, I said, are you okay with this? How does your family feel? You had to tell them about your experience at 15. I was just, I want to make sure. She said, I am so fine with it. She said, I've wanted to do this all my life. I just kind of put it in the background until I read that in the church bulletin. So I really believe that God has all of our lives planned out, puzzle pieces, things. People come into your life for a reason. They leave your life for a reason.
Yeah.
And
you got to thank them for the journey.
Oh my goodness, you do. You really do, because it's who you are now. It's what you've experienced through your whole life. That's the person you are today because of those negative and positive things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm really blessed to be able to tell my story 22 years later. 22 years is a long time. When I first got the transplant, they said 10 to 15 years. Then when it got to be about 13, I said, okay, what about now? Because, research is constantly improving.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, it's about 15 to 20 now. I recently asked, probably 3 years ago, and they said, we're seeing 30 and 35 years organs last. You have to take your immunosuppressant drugs every day, every 12 hours, can't miss, that sort of thing. It's a small price to pay to be breathing. I've been married 43 years now, have 3 beautiful grandchildren. And so I'm very blessed to be able to tell my story, and I know it. I'm very, very blessed.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Suzette left out one big piece, though.
Oh.
So they put it in the church bulletin, and Suzette, tell them how many people reached out to give you a kidney.
Yeah, 21 people.
Wow.
Goodness.
Oh.
Wow. Now, obviously, not all that many people are going to be exact matches that are
No,
needed, right?
and you're right. You're right. The blood type at that time was the main thing. You have to have the right blood type.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the people, I don't even know who they were.
Yeah.
It was a big church. I don't even know if they knew me, but they were willing to go be tested. Leslie was the second one to go through. I think the first lady had a hepatitis C or something. She wasn't able.
Mm-hmm.
But just to know that 21 people are willing to do that for you. And I'm not a special person. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time in life, and it just came together. And I'm just so blessed. Every morning I wake up. It's been almost 22 years, and every morning I wake up and I realize a lot of people didn't make it. I dialyzed with people who died on the machine. A lot of people who get transplants they reject. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
So Jessica, can you take us through the process of matching and receiving a living donor?
Yeah. So with living donation, if you are like Leslie and you have that calling that you want to give, typically you start by going to your doctor stating, hey, this is something I'm interested in doing. They can then run a couple of those tests and direct you to the transplant. Typically locally here, you'll end up at Mayo, and they run the full gambit of tests. There is also a huge if you don't know anyone, you're like, I really just want to give to a stranger. There's a stranger exchange program that you can just donate to someone who is your match somewhere in the U.S.
But how would that change my life? Would I have to make some major life changes? Obviously no drinking. Could I still work out like a beast? What does that look like if you only have one kidney?
Yeah. So when they run that test, they make sure that you can live with that one kidney. So a lot of the people, they go get tested because they want to give their dad, their friend that kidney, and they find out, no, you need both of them, and it doesn't work. But once you get tested and they say, yeah, absolutely, your body can function fully with that one kidney. And so you have surgery. So obviously there's a recovery period, but then you go off and live your life.
Really?
So you can do all the things, obviously being mindful that, things are a little different, but yeah, go to the gym, go on vacation, do everything.
Yeah.
Wow. This is so powerful. We talked to you last year and we had a great conversation, and I feel like I learned something new every time we talk.
Mm-hmm.
You must have experienced so many other incredible stories over your time with LifeQuest. Do you have any more that kind of stand out, that kind of stress the importance of, if you can do this, go ahead and do it?
Yeah. recently, what really just like hit my heart the most is I go into a lot of the high school classes and I talk to them because they're about to get their driver's license, wanting to have that conversation with students that, this is their first time they get asked that question. So was at a local high school a couple months ago. And I always say, like, go home, talk to your parents. Like, this is a family conversation you need to have. Got a call 3 weeks after that saying one of the girls went home, told her mom some lady was at school about organ donation, got into a car accident and passed away. Told her mom she wanted to be an organ donor. She donated 3 organs, saving 4 people's lives.
Wow.
So your liver can get cut in half and be given to 2 people. And so that's what happened with her. So that one really hit home of that, a 15-second conversation, a little text message can make the difference. She saved 4 lives. That's huge. That's not just a person you're saving. That's a family and a community of people that makes a huge difference. So that one really has been striking lately.
Suzette, when was the moment when you realized it was like, I got my life back? Do you remember that aha moment where?
Well, almost immediately.
Okay.
Because I was very pale, had no color in my face. My husband walked in the next morning and said, "Oh my goodness, your cheeks are rosy. I haven't seen rosy cheeks in 8 years."
Really?
Yeah. And so, immediately energy came into me because the kidney, because the toxins in junk, it can really tear you down if your kidneys don't work properly. And so I'm very fortunate that, I got a good one because she is still very healthy. And I followed up with her many times. Sometimes we have breakfast together and we used to talk about our kids. Now we talk about grandkids. But anyway, I talked to her and I said, how was the recovery? What was the worst thing that happened at recovery? And 22 years ago, back then, I'm not sure now, they do it laparoscopically. And so they blow her stomach up and take out the kidney through a camera. The hardest part, she said, was getting rid of the gas that blew up your stomach.
Yeah, painful, right?
Because it rises, and so it'd be painful in her neck and, chest area.
Oh, wow.
But she said that really only lasted about 5 days.
That's it, yeah.
So it was very, very minimal. And we continued to talk, and she's healthy. She lives a great life, no issues. And like I say, my only issue, continues. I just had to remember every 12 hours take those pills.
Right,
and because they're so strong, it has caused other things to have to deal with, but it's minimal.
Okay.
It's minimal, really. To think of where I was and how weak I was and how I was probably going to die if I hadn't got one fairly quickly.
So that's what I want to ask you. Going back to that mission trip.
Yeah.
Would you ever visit that now that you're healthy? Would you ever go back there?
Yeah.
Really? The altitude doesn't scare you?
No, it doesn't. Actually, I haven't been back to Ecuador, but in 2011, I started traveling with a group out of Jacksonville, Act for the Nations. It's a ladies group.
Oh, love them. Oh, my goodness.
Do you know who that is?
They're
Yes, Sharon
incredible.
Williams, yes.
Yeah, my friend Stephanie Robinson donates jewelry to the ladies all around the world.
We know
Oh, my
Steph,
goodness. It's
absolutely.
an incredible organization. Yes.
And so we traveled. Well, since 2011, because of my transplant was in 2003. So I had some recovery time. I wanted to make sure, everything's good. And 2011, I started traveling, and now I've done 22 international trips with Act for the Nations. And now
You're an earth angel. This is incredible.
well, I'm just fortunate. I really am. And there's many more. You just don't know their story yet. But
when you're doing the book deal, I'll help you. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, you'll have to write it because I'm not. But so the end of April, I'm going to be going to South Africa for 10 days to work with human trafficking volunteers.
Yep.
And minister to them because it's really can be.
We got a package going over there right now. That's
awesome.
amazing. This is such a great story.
So I'm excited, to get to travel again. It's been 3 years. I've had some health issues, and so I've been able to, recover good, and I'm ready to go. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What an unbelievable story.
Yeah, seriously.
And Jessica, how can people get involved, especially during Donate Life Month? I mean, it's on the top of people's minds and all that good stuff.
Yeah, the first thing is to go to donatelifeflorida.org. There you can register as an organ donor, or if you're like, I don't remember if I am or not, go there, you put in your name and address, and it will remind you either yes, you are, no, you're not. Would you like to change that? Either direction. But then start talking to people. If you learned something today, have a conversation with your family, your friends, trying to make this topic less taboo and more of an understanding for the community. So talk to your kids, talk to your friends. Hey, did you know? Because it actually can make a huge difference, those 15-second conversations.
And Jessica, how can we help you personally on this mission? Are there groups of people that you're looking to target and talk to, or how can we help you with this platform?
Trying to reach as many people as possible. So from high school students getting their driver's license through college all the way to the top, a lot of the misconceptions is like, am I too old? Like, you don't want my liver, my lungs, whatever. Anyone can be an organ donor. You know, unfortunately, newborn babies die, but then you have to think there's newborn babies that need those organs. And we just broke a huge record. Oldest donor in the nation, 98 years old,
Really?
donated their full liver.
Wow.
So there is no limit, but it doesn't even come close to the world record. 107 donated their cornea.
God bless.
So anyone can do this.
Yes, they can.
So just trying to reach new groups of people that might be more hesitant about this or are just like, no, this doesn't pertain to me. I bet it possibly could. And yet at the end of the day, there's a small chance it would even happen to you. But if it does, you can make a huge difference in our world.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One more thing I'd like to just say for those that are contemplating donating or being needing a organ. I can still be a donor. I just can't donate my kidney. But I have, tissue, skin, cornea, everything else you can still donate, even though you've received a kidney. That's the only thing you can't pass on. It's lived 2 lives. So
Makes sense.
It's
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Didn't even consider that either.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Thank y'all so much for coming in and
Thank
powerful.
you.
sharing this powerful story.
Thank you.
I think you're gonna get a lot of people signing up to donate organs after this show. I hope so.
I hope
I
so.
hope so.
What
Thank
a
you
gift.
so much.
Save a
Thank
life.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Is there a
you.
website? Is there socials that people should follow
Yes,
for
go-
LifeQuest?
Yes, absolutely. Go to donatelifeflorida.org
Okay.
or you can follow us at LifeQuest FLA or at Donate Life Florida.
I'll put that in comments for
Awesome.
everybody.
Thank you so much,
Perfect.
Jessica and Suzette.
Thank you.
Great
for
story.
coming in.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Wow.
I know.
That's-
Wow, that was so fun.
I'm almost speechless.
I know. I
Yeah,
was
man.
tearing up. I was like, thank God you were there, because I was like, that was a powerful story, right?
Absolutely.
Circumstance
man.
and faith over fear, just all of it and combined in one. So important. You can save a life. Yeah.
And again, just so many misconceptions out there.
Yeah.
You know, there's not, the firefighters aren't waiting to cut your organs out on
Right,
site.
yes.
I mean, you do this and you're able to donate in a very specific way. That,
Save
you know.
people. That is so
yeah,
important.
man, really awesome.
Great story.
Hey, want to give a big shout out to our friends at Old Town Trolley. If you didn't know, St. Johns County residents always going to tour free when accompanied with a full fare adult paid guest. To take advantage of this incredible offer, just sign up for your hometown pass today at hometownpass.com. Your hometown pass can also be used at the Old Jail, Potter's Wax Museum, the Oldest Store Museum, and it's the best way to entertain visiting friends and family. Check them out. They are the green trains. You'll love them as much as we do.
And we love Steve Chapman's All-American Air. They've been serving St. Augustine and St. Johns County. They take great pride in providing quality service and installations, in turn gaining a customer for life. All-American Air can match any price, but no one can match their quality and their service. Our friends at Steve Chapman's All-American Air will take exceptional care of your home unit. You got to ask yourself, when's the last time somebody came over, gave it a good checkup, make sure it's running efficiently? Well, give them a call. Get on one of those maintenance plans, 904-461-0070.
And Bin 39, a great little wine bar right there at the Orange Street side of St. George Street, for St. George Street to be exact. They got over 95 wines there, hand-selected from across the globe.
Wow.
Brought them all right back here to St. Augustine for you to enjoy, by the way. They're not sitting in the back drinking these themselves.
No. They want you to come out.
They want it
and
for
enjoy
you.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't know what wine to get for a special occasion, you can always walk into Bin 39 and ask them. Irving and his entire staff are literally glad, excited to talk to you about finding the best wine. They're not going to sit there and say, they're not sitting there judging you.
No.
Oh, you don't know which wine to get? That's not their style.
No, they want to teach everybody.
Yeah. They love the world of wine, and they want you to love the world of wine as well. They're open 8 to 8 daily. Bin 39. Check them out. All right, horoscope time. Libra and Aquarius on a Thursday.
They were brutal yesterday.
Were they?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Libra, This month, you'll find yourself engaged in your favorite activity. Indecision. Should you stay or should you go? Becomes the theme song, there we go, of your life.
Yeah.
You're gonna stay away. You're going to sway back and forth. All right.
Oh, like the music.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice. UB40.
Close to giving up on this one already.
Try to save it.
You're gonna sway back and forth more than a malfunctioning pendulum.
Oh, yeah.
And people around you will grow increasingly irritated. Surprise!
It's you.
No one's ever happy with your constant waffling.
Yeah.
Ironically, when someone finally makes a choice for you, you'll be furious. So fill your world with flowers and maybe your tough decisions will magically evaporate. Probably not, though. Aquarius. Jeez, we're only finished one of these. Oh, my God.
It's only 2 today.
Aquarius. Dear Aquarius, your brilliant ideas will continue to drown in the murky lake of nobody else cares.
Oh my gosh, Aquarius.
A utopia nobody understands? Checked off the list along with that experimental art project abandoned in your garage. It's a meth lab in Florida.
Yeah,
That's what that is.
That's definitely what that is used for.
Your mouth will resemble a surrealist painting. You might be having a stroke. Leading you to question everything, including why people think socks and sandals is unfashionable.
That's so off. You are so wrong. No idea.
It might be helpful to get pet rock. It's one of the few things that truly is on your same mental level.
Oh, that's hard.
That's what she said.
All right, we've got the St. Augustine Aquarium. They're doing something fun for Easter.
Okay.
Bring the whole family for an egg sighting hunt where kids can get in free with the purchase of an adult ticket. Find the golden egg for a chance to win an epic grand prize and meet a magical mermaid and a fierce shark. Don't miss out on this under the sea celebration. Go to the Easter egg hunt at the aquarium. 2 p.m. to special snorkel Easter egg hunt. Okay, I'm just trying to see if we've got, SAAaquarium.com. So yeah, check that out. It's going to be fun on April 19th, 1:00 p.m.
Okay.
Hey, Bling and Ink is happening with the Girl Gang of St. Augustine. Bring your favorite book to Bling and enjoy brunch while the gang and some people book a tat. So you can get a tattoo. You're blinging out books.
And some people, I love it.
8 people have an option to get a tattoo. I love it. Yeah, okay.
There you go.
So
I need a new tattoo, man. I've
There
been
it
thinking
is.
about it all week. I need to get a new tattoo.
Perfect. Well, the Girl Gang can tell you where to go. This is Sunday.
I mean, I can't go to the girl gang
well,
for it.
I mean, they can at least inspire you to book yours after their block party or
I
something.
do still have that Leslie wig.
Oh,
Still got
that could
that?
work.
Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah. I'm not cutting the beard, though.
Oh, well, yeah, I've seen it in West King. Sunday, April 27th, 1 to 7 p.m., Pegasus Gallery. Going to be awesome. There's 8 spots available if you want to get one of those tattoos. Check out girlgangastaugustine.com. They're doing some incredible things. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, check them out. They're doing good stuff.
Nice.
Hey, we did hear from former Commissioner Martha Gleason. She wants to remind everybody that the Mosquito Control District Board meeting is happening on April 10th at 5:00 p.m. It would be greatly appreciated if people can show up. The budget cycle starts this month, and the board needs to know that they are being watched. She's amazing. Follow her on Facebook page if you want to find some more information. But Anesthesia Mosquito Control District Board meeting on the 10th, 5:00 p.m. Show up and show out for that.
That's a good idea. They need to know they're being watched.
Yeah, it is a good idea. That was a great conversation we had with her. Very eye-opening.
It was. They're really out of control out there at
True
the Anesthesia
story.
Mosquito Control Board.
Yes.
They need to be reined in. All of them actually need to be fired.
That was crazy what she told us
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, guys, clean it up.
All right. Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
And you can find some good stuff at Panache.
You can. We just talked to Michelle yesterday at Panache. They've been living the fabulous life since 1987 and invite you to their pamper party. Their mission is simple. They're there to sprinkle joy from head to heart. One guest at a time, from a chic haircut to a soul-soothing massage. The team is all about pampering you to the max. You got to go to panache.com and get with it, boo.
Yeah.
All right. Today, I found this Instagram page of the weirdest things sold on eBay.
Okay.
Like this UFO floating modular design on the water. It's a meeting office resort theme room for about $10K. It'll set you back a little bit.
$10K?
there.
That's it?
Yeah.
I want one.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't afford one, but I want
Well, you
one.
got some payments or something. Yeah. Next up, desktop punching game, mini finger boxing toy with punching bag to knock out. $9.97.
Okay.
No. Flick it. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, what are you trading that finger for?
Yeah, what are you doing there? Next up, dollhouse miniature handcrafted medical hospital autopsy morgue cart. This did not come with Jessica today. She does not recommend this one, but yeah, this is $95 or best offer.
Oh, really? 90? Wow.
Yeah. Next up, haute couture handmade protective face mask.
There's no protection there.
But with the seashells and the pearls, there's some people out there that look like a booger. This could definitely cover that up. Ooh,
yeah, right?
Golly.
They could smell like a fish.
Right.
Great.
And if you have an ugly baby, this is a cute idea. You can, just stick that in there. And then it looks like kind of fun. You know, you might as well laugh at it.
Boy, you got a real ugly baby if that makes your baby look better.
I mean, it's some of them out there. You gotta let them bake a little longer.
Have you ever just wanted to sit there on Facebook and say, boy, your baby is ugly?
Yeah. Yeah. My new thing is like, oh, wow, you're really brave. Yeah.
To keep that kid?
Yeah, exactly.
To not give it up for adoption? And we're just kidding.
That's
people.
Of course. Good gracious. Next up, an exceptionally rare 100-blade exhibition knife. This is like a Swiss Army, like super size, right?
Just, there's so much there that it's absolutely useless. How are you going to find the thing you need?
Did your dad ever give you one of like a Swiss Army knife?
Oh yeah. We always had Swiss Army knives as a kid, but nothing like this. That's useless.
How about this ventriloquist figure of Joe Exotic, the Tiger King? Yeah, wow.
See the Tiger King's latest...
Yes.
Gonna deport his boyfriend.
What a hot mess. Immunity. I know. It just keeps getting better with him.
Oh, that guy is a mess.
Next up, everybody hates Chris action figure Kung Fu Slap Will Smith edition. 470 will sit you back to 41 bids, bro. Wow.
Will Smith has never recovered from that.
No, he really hasn't.
And the worst part about it is like Will Smith, people aren't even mad at Will Smith as much for the slap as they are for him still being married to that psycho.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot going on there and a lot to unpack. I'm not sure if he's in or out of the closet, one of those things.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. A lot of talk in the hills. Next up, this comes right out of Ocala. LED chargeable horsetail lights. They're thinking about putting this in the horseplay. They're not sure though. USA, $28 there. Okay.
$28. Yeah, probably
easy.
Dangerous for the horse at $28.
It's not good. Yeah.
Where does it plug in?
Well, I don't know. It's Temu. I think it just turn on. Finally, vintage funeral cosmetic kit for a mortician and Bombler creams. Ooh, right? $200 though. Wow. That's expensive.
Yeah, you can only get them from that place.
Yeah, on eBay. My gosh.
Okay. Well, that was an interesting round.
Yes, sir. But great chat today.
Great chat.
Yeah.
Great show. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.